what it is.
What's up?
Got your person in the cut.
God damn.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm going back to work next week.
So you're gonna be tired.
So I'm gonna be tired. I hope I won't be tired. That is truly my hope. But capitalism is capitalism.
It will.
And you know, at this point, the hope is just not even the hope. I suppose the mission is to figure out, you know, when, and what am I doing that can ensure that I'm operating in my window of tolerance and I'm not like too stressed or understimulated or whatever. And that's been really difficult because
I can imagine.
Yeah, guys, when you've been sort of sitting in when your baseline has been sitting, in a certain place, it's figuring out balance is like, what does that mean? So I'm good in that regard. Yeah, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm tired. I'm just accepting I'm tired.
Tis the season.
What a life. What a happening.
Guys.
Just feels like there's so many happenings happening all at once.
Right?
Via life, via people, via all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I'm feeling.
Hey,
that's really
yeah. You know what matters is we are alive.
Yes,
We
and
are
grateful
alive.
for that.
Absolutely.
Super grateful for that. So I was actually thinking the other day, I always get a bit emotional in July because it's my birthday.
Oh yes.
Birthday month. So birthday month. It's the month of my birth. So I always, am pushed to reflect on life, my life, the last year, how things have gone. I feel like there was so much loss in the last year, and not like loss of physical life, but like so much loss of self, like in terms of my understanding of my being, so much loss of like things that I had tied so much to my identity in terms of like my ability to be extremely productive, things like that, my ability to get things done, all of that. So I'm just sitting with a lot of reflective feelings.
Yeah.
And it's also my mom's like birth month as well on the last day of the month. So it's always quite hard and difficult to think of her life, what it would mean if she had an additional year that was being added on now.
Especially like the older you're getting, you're like,
I'm so close to how old she was when she died. I'm literally like 4 years away.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think. I was actually thinking about it this morning when I just got undressed, and I was like, I remind myself so much of her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how much the way I identify myself, like the way I express myself and my sense of style and all of that, like so much of it is her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just been thinking about all of that and the fact that it's going to be 4 years. Like I've got 4 years until I'm the age my mom was when she passed away, and the age my uncle was when he passed away.
Oh wow.
So they passed away at the same age.
Yeah.
So it's quite crazy.
Yeah.
But the experience was so different. So basically my uncle, he was 8 when I was born. So he grew up like a brother.
Yeah.
And we're really close in age. And with my mom, when she passed away, it was sort of very different because it was like we were still kids.
Yeah.
I was 20. It's crazy. Yeah. I was 20 and it was all about the grief.
Yeah.
Like it was all about the loss of the person. And I could just sort of sit in that more than I could when my uncle passed away.
Yeah.
Which sort of goes really well into today's conversation.
Yes.
Because we're speaking about the actual cost of death.
Oof, the cost of grief, the cost of goodbye. Guys, growing up.
It's not nice.
It's not funny, it's not nice. But it's really
nice when you can actually plan better for it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think. And it's really not nice when you're not prepared.
Yeah.
So I come from a family that is still very much, most of my family members are very much underprivileged.
Yeah.
And we've just had really scary experiences that have come as a result of someone passing away and everyone not being as prepared.
Yeah.
But I think to go back to my initial thoughts, it's so interesting to experience grief when you don't have the responsibility of looking after certain things versus grief when you do have the responsibility and you're old enough to actually be like an important part of the processes that have to happen. So 2021, our uncle was murdered. That adds another layer, right? Because it's like it's not something that you're expecting. And because I think this was the experience that actually made me have really important conversations after with the adults or older people in my life or older members of my family. Yes, where it was like he was murdered. And then the next day we flew down at like first flight out. And
I mean, even that.
Even that was a cost. Even that was a cost. But then you genuinely, not even like 2 or 3 hours after we had landed, was like people bombarding us with questions. When is the funeral going to be? Who's going to be the
what is it?
I don't know if you
the
call
presiding.
It if you call it the parlor or whatever. You need to speak to the church. You need to organize people that are going to cook. You need to, and my family, we like to, the person passes away on the weekend, we'll bury them on the Saturday or the Friday of that week. Because it's just it's so traumatic to have to last for 2 weeks. So it's really great when the finances are there and everything is sorted enough for you to have it in the first week. But for me, that experience was literally the first time where I was like, oh my God. I need to contribute to this financially.
Absolutely,
I need to contribute to the planning emotionally. And I still need to have space to grieve. And in order for me to have the space to grieve, thank God that we had actually prepared and had the funeral covers and everything in place. Because my gran had conversations about these things in passing with us. In terms of, okay, sine uyaphangela ngoku, nekube nepolisi.
That's something growing up.
That's a huge chat, but I don't think
as a young woman.
As a woman, but I don't think it happens as much as like it used to, because also it's like these aren't conversations that a lot of parents would typically sit down and have with you. But sometimes it happens in passing because people usually have like different plans, whereas the person comes to collect the money or you get sent to go pay for the money. So then it's like in your mind that, oh, when I become an adult, this is something that I need to do. But with a lot of people today, we're migrant laborers. The last time you've lived at home was when you were in high school. You go off to varsity, you live on your own. Your mom or your parents aren't seeing your day-to-day expenses. Sometimes they don't even you don't want to talk to your parents about money and all of that. So it's like the conversations I feel aren't happening as much as they need to because we've seen so many things.
We also, not to cast aspersions, I also think it's a case of not seeing the importance of it. Because in the moment when it's coming out monthly, you're just like,
it feels like a lot.
It feels like a lot. Especially in these precarious times, especially in these precarious economic times. A lot of people
it's the first thing that you're going to drop.
100%.
It's literally like
100%.
It's often the first thing that people let go of as soon as finances become really tight, because obviously it's like it's not an immediate need.
Exactly. And it's like, guys, I think there's also that thing of, I don't know, but what if I'm also putting a hex on somebody by
But I don't think you are by preparing for that.
Not at all. I don't think I've heard people say that.
I know, but like it's like they're not going to have to deal with the reality of them being dead and needing to be buried.
Exactly.
Because we've had so many situations, but a lot of households actually spend like the equivalent of a full year's salary on a funeral. And most households in South Africa, you'll find that only one person works. And right now, things are so bad in terms of the job market, youth unemployment. You find that the person that actually works is the mother that has adult children who don't work. And if the mother falls off in terms of her policies lapse and all of that, then there's a horrible situation. Like we've had 2 instances in my family where there have been deaths with my grand siblings, and her sibling didn't have cover for her children, her adult children, and people have had to take out money from their pockets to pay for these funerals. And it creates such a weird and messed up dynamic.
Oh, absolutely.
And I keep trying to explain it to my gran, because there's this thing where people help you at a time where you're super exposed, and you know that the responsible thing to have done before you got into that situation was to have funeral cover. And you know that in theory and in practice, it's so important to not let it lapse. But life happens.
Life happens, guys.
Life happens so badly that it lapses, right? And then you have to depend on your family and your community in order for the funeral to happen and to get done. And then a lot of people then isolate themselves or become like super passive aggressive towards the people that help them during that time. And then the people that help them, it's like, I helped you. Exactly, oh, there's this weird thing where it's like, now because you got help from your community, you can't do anything without them reminding you that you're going overseas, blah, 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 all of these things.
And we've seen this happen.
We've seen this happen. So it's quite devastating to know that there are all these realities that are attached to like death and funerals. And it's such a funeral is such an important thing within our culture. I actually am quite interested in terms of the practices within your culture when it comes to funerals and all of that, because Guti, it's like, for a lot of people, it's not confined to just the funeral itself. It's also like everything else before the funeral, as in
up to and
imitandas or people coming to show, like, you know, to grieve with you and all of that. That has financial implications too, because you need to cook, you need to feed people, you need to make tea, scones, indoni, and then post the funeral, some families, bakapa, there's the traditional aspect where you need to slaughter a cow in order to kapa the person. And then after some time, you need to buyisa them too.
Oh, wow.
That is a very expensive process.
That's extremely expensive. And does that need a cow as well?
Yeah, ukapa ngenkomo, buyisa ngenkomo. Sometimes, if the finances allow, some people bangcwaba ngenkomo, like they'll slaughter a cow for the funeral as well. So it's quite an expensive thing. I'm quite interested to know in your culture, and also like the village experience versus the township experience.
Yes. So in our culture, I mean, I'm from Limpopo, Guyana in particular. So I mean, we've got quite a big I don't want to say funeral culture. Oh my word, that sounds terrible.
No, but I remember Flora literally being like to me, no, like Tina, we pay police, we pay Dogfell.
100%.
A person's funeral is sometimes the most dignified event that they ever
even
have.
If they maybe didn't have much, funeral wise, they're going to be covered. So, I mean, we've got, growing up, it was always just known that if you don't have a policy, at the very least, you have a burial society plan. And so those typically are, you know, the funeral parlors themselves, they offer those policies, and, you know, it's at a certain premium, which, you know, the people in the village, SASSA earners definitely can, you know, sort of afford.
I was also surprised that you get some policies that deduct directly from SASSA.
Yes, definitely. Although the one that, I can't. The one is not doing it properly. But I mean, it's always been a thing, you know, back home. It's always known that, you know, you have a funeral policy. If you don't have a funeral policy, at the very least you have a burial society plan. If at the very least you don't have that, you have a family burial sort of situation. I think in my family, my maternal family specifically, we had to bring it in because it was that thing of like, guys, we have these unforeseen circumstances happening. Somebody passes away, we aren't ready. You know, a lot of us are still quite underprivileged.
It actually is the catalyst for a lot of families going into debt.
Yes.
The death of a person.
Absolutely.
And the costs that come with it.
And the costs that come, So in our case, it's the same thing as well. Let's say if somebody passed away on the weekend, we then bury them, you know, on the weekend of. If it's that same week as well, we do it the weekend, because from a cost perspective, you're right, it's extremely expensive. I mean, we also do, you know, the thing of people coming to visit. during the day. Family, obviously, they come in droves and they stay there as well to help out with sort of anything that we need. Every evening there's like a prayer service, you know, for the family, and even there you must feed. Even if like you're maybe doing scones or whatever, or like just, you know, pap and cabbage and chicken, but you know, that's still a cost. In my experience, it was like every day almost we were buying groceries, and not just like small groceries, big groceries. And so I think growing up, I saw that, oh, okay, like this is hectic. I think for me, some of the sort of bigger, more closer funerals have been my grandparents. So I did have the experience of losing a grandparent when I was working, but I was just starting out.
Not a lot is expected.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like communicated overtly that we expect you to chip in, but not a lot. Now we are seeing about, okay, now man.
Yeah, exactly. But even there, it was like, okay, you know, I'm just starting out, and it was January. That was the worst part. That was probably one of the worst experiences.
Because you just come out of like December is so expensive within our families, because especially if you want to go home, everyone's around.
And then you're still traveling back home. You must do the groceries where you're currently staying. And then literally a week into that, my grandfather passes away, and it was just like, oh my word. And I think even at the time, even though I was not fully part of the conversations, you know, every evening there's like that meeting. I was very aware that like, oh, okay, from a cost perspective, this is no joke. This is not a joke. This is actually quite hectic. So, I mean, we were helped at least by the fact that the great thing as well is if, let's say, your family member is a ZCT member, they also have policies. So that at least was something that would contribute. But even in a situation where my grandparents had, 6 kids, not everybody's going to have a policy. Not everyone can have a policy. And so even there, you're relying on as well other family members who can to contribute. Contribute. We definitely always kill a cow. In fact, I think we did 2 for my grandparents. Every single funeral, there's always a cow. We slaughter cows for funerals. So that is also a cost element where it's just like, oh my goodness. And obviously because it's a community thing, it's not like by invite, you can't just necessarily you can't police, you can't necessarily maybe say 1 cow is going to be enough. It never is. We had 2 cows and we still ran out, you know. So that's how you know expensive it can be, especially like the more someone is known in the community, especially in the village. It's you know, and you can't not feed everybody in the community. Even more if they are in ZCC as well, with my grandparent, they do like an overnight like umlindelo basically, barindela, and it's literally just the whole night, singing, dancing, all of that. You don't sleep as a family member, but I mean, when you look at it as an adult, it's like, you know what? In the midst of the financial precarity, the stress of like, oh my word, we don't have the money for these things, we need to go borrow money and all of that, you know, having that presence is really helpful sometimes. It definitely is. I really think so. I think the older I got, the more I was like, some of you are a bit, but I think otherwise it's honestly just been, that's pretty much what we do. And usually it's on a Saturday, we don't do Sundays, and it's always in the morning, really, really early in the morning, because it's really hot as well. So
that's a huge difference between us and
we start like really early.
Our funerals last till like 2.
Yeah, in the AMs, and then, you know, by 10 a.m. we're eating, you know, we're cleaning up and all of that. And then we do months later, then we'll do like an unveiling. Usually the day after, it's more so the in-laws actually come. Yeah. It's a tradition, I didn't know, but in-laws come and they help wash blankets and, you know, just like clean up and all of that. And even there, obviously you have to feed everybody still. So it is quite an involved process. It's definitely quite communal, but more than anything, it needs the funds.
But I think
it needs the funds.
I think you raise a really beautiful point in terms of how important your community being around is.
Yeah.
And how
even actually, even when you mentioned the community aspect, even there in the village, each household, is required to give 10 Rand or whatever you can give. To give to the family, which is extremely helpful as well. Like I think, for some people they might maybe look down on it, but I remember when we had gotten that contribution that day, it was so helpful because it was like, well, we can buy chickens or we can buy some cabbage, then at least it's covered for tonight, So yeah. Sorry about that.
No stress. No, I think that it's like important to factor that in because you don't want. I know sometimes we complain about the financial implications and the cost implications that like come with certain things, but at the same time, you don't want to mourn alone.
Yes,
you want your community around, and you want to have the support that you need in order. Like you want, like what you were saying, you want to be as prepared as you can be, so that everything can happen with ease, right? Yeah. And I think that's why today we're so lucky to have this episode actually sponsored by Metropolitan, and they've introduced a new plan which is called a no lapse funeral growth plan.
Yes, very exciting.
It's quite cool because and makes a lot of sense for us young people who sort of don't want to be tied down to monthly payments. Some people are freelancers. Some people have experienced quite a lot of dips and changes in terms of the structure of their employment over the last few months with everything that's happening in the world right now. There's so much retrenchment. There's so much unemployment. Yeah. People are, trying different things that don't guarantee that they always have an income every single month and that their budget is the same every single month. Yeah. So Misha, you can tell us literally how the plan works?
So basically the Metropolitan No Lapse Funeral Growth Plan essentially works by topping up. You have to top it up every year, anytime in fact. No debit orders, no fixed monthly premiums. Just start off with a 200 Rand. Literally 200 Rand gets you cover, it gets you started, and you have the whole year to make it to 1.5. 1.5,
which is like the minimum.
Yes, amount, which is the minimum contribution that you can make in the year. You can make it all at once. You can make it in
bit by bit,
bits and pieces. As you see fit. As long as you make it to that point.
And I think if you don't make the 1.5 in a 12-year period, you get 60% of your funds back if you don't want to continue.
Yes,
but if you make the 1.5, it literally gives you cover for like ever.
Yeah, forever. It literally cannot lapse. Literally once your total payment.
Is so perfect because it's like goes to that thing of using a good year to make up for all the bad years that you might have.
Yeah.
Because like we always talk about how I will have good year, bad year, good year, bad year, good year, bad year, like it's financially.
It's not consistent.
It's literally not consistent. I will have a year where I just make so much money, I can't believe it. And then spend so much money, I can't believe it.
And also, I mean, if you think about the like a traditional, funeral plan, there are increases that you also have to factor in.
Yes.
And with the situations that we often find ourselves as, creatives, as freelancers, as people working in the gig economy, these things can, it
change
can
quite
really
a lot.
It can change quite a lot. And so literally with this cover, once your total payment hits 1.5, you are good.
And you can top lapsing. Up in order to increase the amount that you're covered for, right?
Yes. So your cover grows with every top up. So a 35-year-old, let's say, for example, who puts in 5,000 will get roughly 20,000 in cover, sum assured. And then if you put in, let's say, 10,000, it grows about 40K.
Okay.
And then you go literally.
And then you're good for life. Like, I think that's a game changer. I genuinely think it's a game changer, especially.
A funeral policy that doesn't lapse. I've had a few lapsing. I'm not gonna lie. I've had a few lapsing because it was like, oh, guys.
I think that the trauma of my uncle's funeral, I was like, But then because when I was signing up for this, right? Yeah. I actually did a calculation.
Oh yeah.
Where I looked at my existing policies and I calculated how much I pay per year.
Yeah.
And then divided the cover.
Yeah.
By like, I'm trying to live until 80. I'm trying to live and I was like, I'm actually getting ripped off by some of them.
Oh.
Especially because of if I have some changes in my life, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I might actually add and top up and add more here.
Yeah.
Because then I know, okay, I'm having a good year this year. I've paid this off. Yeah, I'm covered for life. And I think you can also add your family.
Yes. So you can cover yourself, your partner, and all children under 21, including future children, which is fantastic. And even better, we can literally, well, I did it on WhatsApp, but you can buy and manage your plan on WhatsApp.
All
you have to do is just send no lapse to 0860 724 724.
We'll add it in our caption so that everyone can remember.
Yeah, as well, you can also pay at all ShopRites, Pep, Checkers, Pick and Pay, Spar, Ackermans. You can pay at the stores, at the tills.
And I believe you can also set up a stop order later if you want to have one.
Yeah, and we love a stop order, guys. For me, especially me with my ADHD brain, sometimes I forget, and sometimes it's not nice, Oaks, having to sit and be like, okay, now I have to pay this. Rather just set up that stop order and then you're good to go.
But I think what I really like about this also is that everything's happening on WhatsApp, which is a platform that we all use.
Yeah.
And they say that the claims are paid out within 4 hours. I'm sure if you have all the WhatsApp, correct documentation, upload everything, you'll be set. But for me, the most important thing is the flexibility.
Absolutely.
It's so interesting actually because I always have a full-time job.
Yeah.
I'm too scared.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was raised by someone who freelanced a lot.
Yeah.
And the fluctuations in terms of how things are looking financially caused quite a lot of stress.
Yeah.
So I think this solution works really, really well for people who are freelancers or between jobs.
And spouses who are freelancers as well.
Yes. I think it's a really great plan because the idea of it not lapsing, you've paid the 1.5 and you're topping up to increase your premium as you go is just
it's mind-blowing.
Game changer.
Yeah. For me as a salaried individual, always keep a permanent job in Jesus' name. I think it's so, for me, I love everything about that. I really don't think anybody should, restrict themselves and say, maybe this is for guys.
I think even for us as salaried, it makes a lot of sense. And also
when you get your bonus, maybe then you can put it into the top up as well. I mean, I've been thinking about that. Where I was like, you know what? I think I should do that once a year. Just do my yearly top up. And then I know I'm good. Good to go.
And my people are set. Because I think for me, I was actually thinking about how, yes, because of the experiences we've had in our family, I've had the conversations with my gran, I've had the conversation with my sister, I've had the conversation even with my mom's best friend. And I actually had it with my dad last year because I was like, who is covered? By who have you covered and how? Because if somebody passes away and they were not employed, they don't have funeral cover, it's going to be all on you. I'm going to feel the stress to help you out. So what does the lay of the land look like? And I think for me, the most important thing from this episode is that, yes, there's this really great product that exists to ease the stress of not having your finances always look the same, being secure in knowing that you have a funeral policy that will not lapse. You will have a decent funeral based on the amount that you contribute. But also I think the most important thing for everyone who's listening and for us is that we need to have these conversations. If our parents have not brought them to us, we need to take them to them. If we have extended family members who are really important to us that we care about, we need to have the conversation to say, Ndase, I can see that it's been maybe every month for the last 6 months you've been saying, hey, month end, are things okay? Are your funeral policies in the right place? It might feel a bit forward, but I think it's very important because as I said, in my family, we found ourselves in multiple situations where someone actually didn't have funeral cover and you had to step in with your own emergency funds to help that out. And if it's your emergency fund, that person didn't have emergency funds to fund a funeral, they're not going to be able to pay you back.
They won't.
So instead of you then having being extremely frustrated with the person when they're in the experience. I think we need to start having these conversations amongst extended family as well. Where we say, okay, what are things looking like?
Yeah.
Are you guys okay? Are you covered in this way? I'm not trying to kill you.
Yeah, no,
like,
do
not
we need
at
to set
all.
up? Do we need to set up?
I'm just trying to make sure that like everyone has got the base in order for us to be comfortable and to mourn you well. Because mourning when you're frustrated with someone is not nice.
It's not nice. And also when you think about the dynamics it creates, when you think about the after effects, the tastes it leaves behind.
But also, the dynamics become so weird.
Dude. Like, I know relationships that haven't really recovered because, of those financial issues during, a funeral period.
And also we always talk about the role that money plays in families and how like you will feel so undermined when you are unable to help out.
Yeah.
And in certain processes, you might feel so strongly about something and how important it would have been to this person. But now it feels like you can't contribute.
Or someone's just straight up telling you.
Yeah, exactly.
Money
so
talks.
It's like
exactly. So at least
if this 1.5 a year, if this 1.5 a year can give you the dignity,
and your children the dignity, your spouse the dignity, in the case of an untimely death, especially in these times that we find ourselves in, accidental deaths are up there.
They're very up there.
I mean, you guys had experienced that. With
so
your
many,
uncle. Yeah,
but like also so many. Like after my uncle, it was my grand's brother before. Then was my uncle. Then was my grand's brother's son.
Yeah.
Then it was I'll call her my cousin.
Yeah.
But we've had like 4 or 5 literally like deaths that we did not expect.
Sure.
And of that 5, I'll say only 3 of those people had cover. So 2 funerals. The one person, this is why I also think it's very important for us people who work far away from home in different cities. Because that repatriation, the cost of repatriation is so high. And like we had to cover that because the guy, he was in Joburg and he had to be moved to PE for the funeral. So there are all of these things to consider that are so important.
This benefit comes free with this policy.
So
you don't have to worry about transporting the mortal remains.
If you work far away from home, it's so important to have cover. And I think something like this makes a heck of a lot of sense. So I think if this episode made you think about someone, send it to them, or if you want it to be like the icebreaker for you to have this conversation about death, about ensuring that you're covered adequately. Please have the conversation.
Have the conversations, guys.
And it's really as simple as WhatsApping no lapse to 0860 724 724. You literally pay the 200 Rand on your phone if you're comfortable and savvy like that, or you can pay it at multiple retailers. They give you an entire list. I think Spar is there, ShopRite, Pick and Pay, Checkers. So you can literally even pay it like on your way from work. And that's literally the first step. I think the information on the website is also quite simple. When I first heard of it, I thought this is too good to be true. But we literally signed up. Took like 10 minutes to get it done. The idea of no lapse funeral cover is so important. When I shared this with my girls in the WhatsApp group, they're like, I need this.
Say less, exactly.
I need this.
Knowing that, you know what, you don't have to pay every single month and you don't have to pay every single year, as long as you just, when you have that bit, you top up. As long as you have that and it will never, ever lapse, say less. For me, I'm sold. I don't know about you guys. We've given you the information, but check it out. You can do this on WhatsApp, and it's built for people whose lives don't run on a fixed schedule, which is a lot of us.
I think nobody's life currently runs on a fixed.
Even if you are a salaried individual, it doesn't.
Everything changes so much all the time. All the time.
And I think it's great that we now have a product that, that really tends to that we can, have a sense of, okay, I have that stability, I have that security, knowing that in, an unforeseen circumstance, I will have that dignity.
And I think it's quite an interesting, it's so important because when you look at South Africa, as a whole, and how people speak about celebrities. I'll put them in that box because I think the box that a lot of freelance, influencer, creative people financially operate in is similar to that one, where sometimes you get gigs that give you a huge amount of money and then it's quiet for a few months. And then when these guys pass away, people have a lot to say. And I think it's a conversation that only happens when there's been a death that's needed crowdfunding. In order for the family to bury the person.
But it's not a sustained
conversation. It's not a sustained conversation. So I think...
And also the products weren't there.
The products weren't, speaking to the realities of people within these segments. So I think it's so cool when you think about it from that lens, because it means it helps get rid of that. It helps people maintain their dignity to the end. It's crazy. My dad's mom would always speak about what kind of funeral she wanted. Always speak about what kind of funeral she wanted, what kind of casket she wanted, the decor, all of that.
I love asking my parents that. So, and I always say, guys, please tell me, I don't want to fight anyone.
Literally.
That week, I need it to flow.
And being able to get someone that is so important.
Right.
So I think, please, guys, do the research, compare it to your existing plans. Use this as a top up, especially if you know things in your life have changed. And just secure yours and your family's dignity. No lapse.
No lapse.
It's quite crazy.
Do you have a question for us for this week? Well, actually, I think
I do have a question.
I have a little question.
Okay, you ask me. You ask me.
You'll ask yours as well.
I'm not going to ask my question. That's greed.
What is your ideal funeral song?
My funeral song.
Non-negotiable. It has to be played. Doesn't have to be a gospel song. Any. It's a must. It must be played. I'll tell you mine. Mine is Total Praise. If nobody...
You pulled that out knowing what your answer was going to be.
I've always known. If there's one song y'all have to sing, is Total Praise by Richard Smallwood. He actually passed away this year, unfortunately. His funeral was amazing. They sang it as well, and they did a mega version, and I was like, that's exactly what I want at my funeral.
I think it might be Liza sitting alako, because I feel like I would want to know that I've done it.
Liza sitting, and I'm
like,
I like that song.
Yeah, I think it would be that. It would be that.
Tell us what your
Tell us what your funeral song would be.
Yeah.
And tell us how you feel about the idea of a no-lapse plan.
Yeah, if you'd like to know more, also hit us up. We'll give you more
hit us up. We'll also include all of the links.
Yes.
In our
bio,
posts
all of that,
and videos, but also we're not financial advisors in any way. We're not giving formal financial advice. This is something that we've come across and are really, really interested in. So we thought it would be great to share about it. But please, we will answer your questions to the best of our ability.
Oh, you know something we forgot?
What?
You can get a referral code.
Oh, yes.
And if you refer somebody, you get a 5% top up on your own cover every time. So when you do sign up, you're going to get a referral
and you can
code.
Share that code with your family and friends, and that's also a nice way of making sure that everybody is being responsible.
Yes, guys. Yes. So guys, comment, subscribe. Send no lapse to 0860 724 724. I did it. It was really quick on WhatsApp.
Very, very quick.
Really quick. So you can enjoy cover that does not lapse. Thank you all so much. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Bye.